Happy day, friends, and welcome to those of you who are new here. I am Macy LaShawn Sledge, and I am someone who shows up here on this channel to encourage, uplift, and empower those of you who are doing the work to heal, to grow, and to evolve. So thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being present with me. I always appreciate your presence. I am appreciating and loving the feedback, the comments, the realizations that you all are sharing in the comments under my videos, and it's just a privilege, and I feel honored that some of you are sharing with me how you feel and what's coming up for you. I always appreciate it, and know that I'm always like praying for everyone who listens, who hears, that your lives will be changed and transformed in such amazing ways. So thank you for being here. So we've started a new month, right? We've started a new month. We're welcoming in the month of May. And so that's what this conversation will be focusing on. What is Spirit asking us to do throughout the month of May? How is Spirit asking us to evolve? What is the theme for the month of May? Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and get into it. But first, as always, let's just pause for a second. Close your eyes. Begin to notice your breath. Begin to notice and observe your energy. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then go ahead and open your eyes, allowing yourself to just be grounded in this moment, allowing everything, your thoughts, your energy, your breath, allowing everything to just be centered, allowing yourself to be centered, to come back to your center in this moment. So for the month of May, I've been meditating on this for a couple of days, and for the month of May, the theme, the topic for this conversation is cross your T's and dot your I's. Okay, so throughout the month of May, Spirit is inviting you, God is inviting you to cross your T's and dot your I's. All right. And so what that means is throughout the month of May, you're being invited to tie up any loose ends with who you used to be. Okay, this version of yourself that God is calling you away from, you're being invited to tie up any loose ends that may exist between this more evolved version of yourself and this version of yourself that God is calling you to evolve away from. Okay, this version of yourself that has served you well. Okay, this version of yourself that has done what it was supposed to do in order to get you to where you are now, right? This version of yourself who did the best that it could do with what it had, with the tools that it had, okay, with the level of awareness that you had at that particular point in time. And so now God is saying your level of awareness is expanding, it's evolving, and so now it's time to tie up any loose ends. Now it's time to cross your T's and dot your I's. Okay. And the reason for that, okay, is because, and here's why. Here's why. Okay, let me just let me take a deep breath because this is coming up and I'm like, whoo, this is so good. I can feel it. I could just feel the expansion and I can feel the transformation and I can feel the evolution that's here for you, for us as a collective, okay? So cross your T's and dot your I's. All right, why is this important? Why is this important at this particular moment in time? Why is this what God is inviting us to do, to cross our T's and dot our I's? Okay, it's important because right now, in order for you to cross the threshold, okay, in order for you to cross the threshold, you have to cross your T's and dot your I's, okay? Because right now you're in this liminal space. You're in like this in-between space, okay? And you currently, it feels like you're currently not necessarily stuck, but like you're at a standstill, okay? So say you're driving and you live in a really busy city and it's rush hour, all right? And during rush hour, you're probably moving, you're barely moving, right? Traffic is barely making any progress because it's rush hour and everybody's driving, everybody's on the road, everybody's trying to get somewhere, right? So it's rush hour. And it's like you can't get to that. Your exit is a mile up the road, but it's taking you an hour to get a mile up the road, right? And so that's kind of where you are right now is you're in traffic, you're stuck in traffic, all right? Or like I was saying a minute ago, you're in that in-between, you're in the in-between, all right? And Spirit is saying in order for you to move forward, in order for you to cross the threshold, in order for traffic to be cleared, okay, you have to cross your T's and dot your I's. You have to tie up any loose ends with who you used to be, all right? And another way that this came through whenever I was meditating on it again last night is that you're in a space where you're feeling this feeling of enough is enough. Okay, enough is enough. You've had enough, okay? Enough is enough. You've had enough of the self-sabotaging behaviors. You've had enough of the self-sabotaging beliefs. You've had enough of the self-sabotaging narratives that you've repeated over and over again in your mind that have kept you in a state of mediocrity, okay? You've had enough of the self-sabotaging behaviors and patterns, right? that have kept you that have kept you in that are keeping you right in the in-between space. You've had enough, right? You're in this space where you're like, enough is enough. And if you're not quite there, you can probably feel that you're moving into that space, right? Every time you look in the mirror, you're like, you can feel you're over it, right? Another way to say it is that you're just over it. You're just over it, right? And here's the thing, right? Because we want to make a switch, is what I was hearing when I was meditating over this, is that, enough is enough. And you've had enough of the self-sabotaging energy, right? And you're in this space where you need more from yourself. You need more from yourself, right? You need more commitment from yourself. You need more dedication from yourself. You need more consistency from yourself. You're beginning to see that. You're beginning to feel that, right? And it's important for me to note that for a while, because typically the narrative, especially when we're in the beginning stages of healing, typically the narrative is that we need more from other people. Okay. And it's so easy to get stuck in that narrative of needing or wanting more from others. But at this point in your journey, at this point in the process of expanding and evolving for you, it's not others that you're needing more from. When you're focused or stuck on the narrative that says you need more from others, what happens is that means that your energy or your focus, your attention is on things in the external rather than being tuned in and turned in towards yourself. And so then that distracts you from seeing the self-sabotaging behaviors that are keeping you from experiencing more. Okay? So it's not others that you're needing more from. It's yourself. You're needing more from yourself, right? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. When you look in the mirror, and you may, throughout the month of May, you may, or whenever you're seeing this, you may take out some time to do some mirror work, to look in the mirror and maybe even say to yourself, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And allow your spirit in those moments to reveal to you the what it is that you need to let go of. The self-sabotaging behaviors and patterns that you need to let go of that have been keeping you in this in-between space, right? That have been stopping you from really moving forward and fulfilling your potential. Okay? So God is inviting you to cross your T's and dot your I's, tying up any loose ends with this version of yourself that you're ready to expand beyond. Okay? One of the first things that came up, right, is addictions. And there are all sorts of addictions, right? There are all sorts of addictions. The two main addictions that we always tend to focus on are alcohol and drug addiction, right? But there is sex addiction. There is food addiction. There is social media addiction, being addicted to the phone, right? There is, you name it. You name it, right? There are all kinds of addictions that exist. What is your addiction? What are you currently addicted to that is causing you to self-sabotage? That is causing you to lean away from your potential instead of leaning into it. Okay? What is your addiction? Because that's what happens. Our addictions distract us from they keep us from leaning into our potential. So what is your addiction? Okay, and what came through with this conversation around addiction is that the addiction that, and it's not even really a specific addiction, but what I was hearing is that anyone who listens to this at some point in time, right, maybe in the past, it could be right now, has been addicted to betraying yourself. You are addicted to betraying yourself. Okay, you are addicting to betraying yourself. And and here's the thing, okay? This addiction to betraying yourself, what happens is that you can see your full potential, right? You can feel it. Especially if you're in the space of healing, of growing, evolving, you can see your potential. You can see it, you can feel it. And then what happens is you get a whiff of that. You get a whiff of your potential. And then those narratives, those self-sabotaging narratives, right, begin to play over and over again in your mind, distracting you from what you feel to be true, from what you can see to be true. And then you fall back on what you've always known. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I can't. I'm a failure. No one loves me. I'm unlovable. Right? So you fall back on what you've always known. When you fall back on those narratives, that is you betraying yourself. That is you betraying yourself. And so the addiction that spirit really wants you to look at is, why are you addicted to betraying yourself? Why are you addicted to betraying yourself? And one of the notes that I wrote is that this addiction of betraying yourself keeps you small, and it keeps you in the shadows. And again, it keeps you from fulfilling your soul's potential. Right? It keeps you from fulfilling and living out the will of your soul. Even though you can see it, even though you can feel it, even though you can taste it. And so, in order to overcome this addiction, you want to set a small goal for yourself, okay? And goals are not something that I typically talk about setting, but you want to set a small, this is just what's coming through. You want to set a small goal for yourself, okay? This goal could be something as simple as going for a 10-minute walk 3 days a week. Okay, that's your goal. Write it down. Okay, and because the goal is small, right? Because the goal is small, you would think that it would be so easy to achieve it. But because that pattern exists of betraying yourself, it might be a little bit difficult. But it's in those moments when you can encourage yourself, when you can empower yourself, when you can speak new thoughts, when you can speak more uplifting and empowering thoughts over yourself, in those moments when you see that this narrative, this old version of yourself is saying to you, you're not going to do this. You're not going to get up and go on a 10-minute walk 3 days a week. You're not going to do that, right? Because that's what that voice in the back of our mind does. And so setting this goal, well, number one, it'll help you overcome this addiction to betraying yourself. And then number two, this is a part of you tying up the loose ends, crossing your T's and dotting your I's, right? This is you setting this goal, this small goal, and rising up to it, allowing yourself to evolve, allowing yourself to transcend the self-sabotaging behaviors. This is you saying enough is enough, right? Because when we look in the mirror and we say enough is enough, we don't want to look in the mirror and say enough is enough and then judge ourselves and bash ourselves and demean ourselves and speak down on ourselves. We want to look in the mirror and say enough is enough. I see who I am. I know who I am. I feel who I am. I see my potential. I see who I am at the core, at my core. I see the power sorry, I gotta put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I see the power that I am. I see my sovereignty. Enough is enough. I want to honor my sovereignty. I want to honor who I am. I want to honor the essence of who I am. When we are looking in the mirror and saying enough is enough, that's what we're saying. We're not looking in the mirror and saying enough is enough, you dirt, and cussing ourselves out and speaking down on ourselves. No, that's not what we're doing. That is what we're letting go of. That is the self-sabotaging behavior that you are being asked to let go of. Okay? And so addictions, however big, however small, Identify your addictions, because this is going to help. Identifying your addictions is going to help you tie up any loose ends, because that addiction doesn't belong to the more evolved version of you. That addiction doesn't belong to the essence of who you are. The essence of who you are is not addicted to a damn thing. The essence of who you are has no addictions. The essence of who you are does not cling to anything for comfort. The essence of who you are does not cling to something in order to cope. The essence of who you are, again, the essence of who you are just is. The essence of who you are is that power that lives within you, that is fueling you. And so you will have to lean into the essence of who you are in order to overcome the addiction. Okay? One of the other things that came up in order to tie up any loose ends, and I don't feel like I'll spend a whole lot of time on it, is this active people pleasing. Okay? Crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Letting go of people pleasing. Okay? Honoring your autonomy. Following your lead. Following the lead of your spirit. Allowing God, allowing your spirit, allowing the essence of who you are to lead you. Honoring that you are an autonomous being. That no one outside of you has authority over you in your life. That there is no power outside of yourself, outside of you. There is no power except for the power that you are that has authority over your life. I think that's an affirmation that I shared a few videos ago. There is no power except for the power that I am that has authority over my life. So you can sit with that affirmation. You can meditate over that affirmation in order to help you overcome the people pleasing, in order for you to tie up any loose ends whenever it comes to this older version of yourself and the people pleasing behaviors that you would once engage in. There is no power except for the power that I am that has authority over my life. Sit with that. Meditate over that. Breathe over that. Breathe it in to your being. Okay? Because people pleasing is the other aspect that Spirit was showing me, that in order for you to cross your T's and dot your I's, you're going to have to let that go. Okay? And then cutting ties with your life story. Okay? Cutting ties with your life story. The essence of who you are. The essence of who you are at your core. Okay? The version of you, the aspect of yourself that will continue to exist after this body is dead and gone, has no life story. Okay? And sometimes we can become addicted to our life stories. Okay? Sometimes we can become addicted to our life story. There are aspects of our story, right, that serve us, that do us well in remembering. And then there are aspects of our life story that are connected to the self-sabotaging behaviors, that are connected to the self-sabotaging patterns, that are connected to these self-sabotaging narratives that we repeat over and over in our mind. There are aspects of our life story, okay, that cause us to seek out a false sense of security and safety, that cause us to hide, right? That keep us addicted. And the more that we repeat these stories over and over, the more that we allow these stories to define who we are, that is where we stay. That's how we tend to stay, addicted to the things that we are addicted to. And so when this came through, cutting ties with your life story, there were questions that came through, questions that you can write down, that you can sit with. Why is your life story so important to you? Why is your life story so important to you? What does holding on to your life story give to you? What does holding on to your life story validate for you? Okay, cutting ties with your life story. Your existence is all the validation that you need. You being here in this life, in this world, is all the validation that you need. You are a manifestation of this power that dwells within all things, that dwells within you, right? That dwells within everything you can see and cannot see. You are a reflection of that power. You are a manifestation of that power. And that is all the validation that you need. A lot of times we hang on to our life stories because we want some kind of validation. And what I'm hearing right now, ooh, Jesus. What I'm hearing right now is that holding on to this life story, what a lot of times what people are wanting validated is the hatred that they feel towards other people for harming them. What they're wanting validated is the bitterness that they're holding on to, that they feel towards other people for harming them. What they're wanting validated is the unforgiveness. They're holding on to, you may be holding on to unforgiveness. And part of the reason why that life story is so important to you is because if I let go of this, if I stop allowing this story to define me and my life, that means that so-and-so gets away with the harm that they did to me. And I can't have that. I don't want that. I don't want them to get away with it. So I'm holding on to this story and I'm repeating it over and over and over every chance I get, even though it's keeping me stuck in bitterness, even though it's keeping me stuck in anger, even though it's keeping me stuck in hatred. I'm holding on to it because I don't want them to get away with it. But in the meantime, you're harming yourself. In the meantime, you're harming yourself. Okay? Because you're so wrapped up in it. So cutting ties with your life story. Again, there are certain aspects of our life story that we hold on to, that it will do well for us to remember, to recall at times. But then there are certain aspects of the life story that you got to cut ties with, that you got to let go of. Because again, it goes back to that first thing where we were talking about addictions. A lot of people hold on to that life story and they become addicted to the hatred. They become addicted to the unforgiveness. They think that holding on to that withholding forgiveness from someone means that they're in control. Not true. Not true at all. They become addicted to the bitterness, addicted to the lovelessness. And if you just look in our world, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's so apparent. Okay? So what is your life story? That life story, that story that you keep repeating over and over and over that you can't cut ties with, what is it validating for you? Allow yourself to identify what it is that it's validating for you. And then make the decision to cross your T's and dot your I's, to tie up any loose ends, to look in the mirror and say enough is enough, because this hatred is not serving me. This hatred is not reflective of the essence of who I am. This bitterness is not reflective of the essence of who I am. This unforgiveness that I'm holding on to is not reflective of the essence of who I am. And I'm ready to let it go. Make that declaration. make that decision so that you can live up to and lean into your full potential, so that you can live out the will of your soul, so that you can allow the light of God, the light that you are, to shine forth, because this world needs your light. This world needs your light, needs to see your light shining. Because remember what I always say, when you are doing the work, as you are doing the work, as you are showing up in your own life doing the work, the world is benefiting. The world is healing because of you. I love you. Thank you for being here again. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I want to invite you to subscribe. If you have any thoughts, any realizations, anything that you would like to share, make sure you leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.